fury of Syria's military and its allies unleashed once more on the city of Aleppo. As the truce in this country is shattered, relations between Russia and the United States, sponsors of the peace deal, have also been pushed to new depths. Not since the end of the Cold War has rhetoric between Moscow and Washington, who back opposite sides in Syria, been so acute.
How can people go sit at a table with a regime that bombs hospitals and drops chlorine gas again and again and again and again and again and again, and acts with impunity? You're supposed to sit there and have happy talk in Geneva?
It was the bombing of a UN aid convoy near Aleppo on Monday that appears to have been the last straw. At least 20 civilians and aid workers were killed, and the desperately needed humanitarian supplies they were preparing to deliver incinerated. Russia denies its warplanes, or those of its Syrian government allies, are to blame.
I think we need to refrain from emotional reactions and make comments immediately, public comments, but first to investigate and be very professional.
Of course, this diplomatic clashing of swords over Syria didn't come out of a vacuum. Russia and the United States have been at loggerheads for years over issues from the Gulf War in 1990 to the Arab Spring uprisings that began in 2010. Add to that NATO expansion into former Soviet territories, and you get a sense that even though the Cold War ended, the mutual rivalry and suspicion never really did. The latest round of US-Russian tensions can be traced to Ukraine and the fighting that followed a popular pro-Western uprising there in 2014. As well as backing the rebels, Russia quickly annexed the strategic Crimean Peninsula, where its Black Sea Fleet is based. The US responded with outrage and economic sanctions and continues to criticize Russian policy in Ukraine and elsewhere.
We see Russia attempting to recover lost glory through force.
But it all only seems to have bolstered Vladimir Putin. His muscular foreign policy in Ukraine and Syria, forcing the world to recognize Russia as a major power once again, and a major critic of the United States.
Instead
of the triumph of democracy and progress, we got violence, poverty, and social disaster. I cannot help asking those who have caused the situation, do you realize now what you've done?
When it comes to Syria, the test of whether Putin and the United States can work together now hangs by a thread. Matthew Chance, CNN Moscow.